Thursday the 20th. It's getting pretty late in the morning. Sometime after 10:30, I know that much. I got smart. The little bit that I used Ben's Bobcat before, that bucket doesn't curl very well. It's hard to carry much rock in it. And there happens to be a bucket for that cat machine right there. Same coupler, but a 6-foot bucket, and it actually curls back a little farther, I think. So Ben's bucket's laying there. Number one is on his machine. Learning how to use it. It's good for her to get well rounded. I had it fired up and switched buckets for her. She just pulled from next to me up to there, getting her first load of dirty rock to go start dumping it. And I got to sneak in there and get a couple chunks of concrete so she's got some place to dump. Then we're both gonna run back and forth. But hey, she's getting her. Actually, looks like a pretty good load on there. She's just got to remember that that bucket's a foot wider than the machine. I forgot to tell her that, but she'll figure it out. She knows it's bigger. And there she goes. All right. See if I get you some more later. I can't hold this and play. Hey, guess what? This cylinder's been seeping for a long time. Yeah, it ain't seeping no more. It's flat out blowing, so the seep where the only time it leaves a drip is when you park it for a little bit. Is one thing. But she squirted, so she's done. I gotta get them off. Probably have both of them rebuilt. I'd do it myself. We'll see though. But generally that style of nut on the end, they're torqued on there so hard that it takes special tools. But we're gonna find out, because one advantage it does have, it's got that screw in the side. So there's a pretty good chance that I might be able to get it apart. But I'm gonna see if I can find a couple rebuild kits first. So we'll see what happens. Okay. My machine's screwed for today. It's supposed to have parts tomorrow. Number one is still running Ben's. We just finished up lunch and she's got, I think, 2 scoops back here. She's not getting as big a scoop as I can get, but yeah, you know, it's more than nothing. So she is slowly working her way, filled this little gap in here between the old and the new. There was a bunch of stuff here. There was the tin over there, and there's 3 pallets of tires right there, and this stuff was all in here. So she's getting her done. Speak of the devil. She looks the other way. Probably doesn't know, hey, she got a full scoop. I like that. Nice, pretty machine with all that new paint. God knows I don't want to mess that paint up. She's still learning, by the way. Not to mention, she's really not used to this machine. She's used to the hand controls on mine. And this is foot control, so. But she's getting it. She don't need to raise it that high, but that's okay. It's here. I'll straighten it out later. Oh, this is the pad I've put in. Hopefully most of the equipment out here will fit on it where we can actually get to it and hook it up. I got another place we're going to put some stuff too. It's going to go underneath some animals. But for now, finish this up, go from there. I'll get you some more bits and pieces. Both of them are loose. Both of them are just sitting there. I just haven't picked them up and moved them in the shop yet. And even with nothing on it, and the fact that the pressure is actually the other direction at the moment, because the barrel should be sliding down, creating a suction where it's dripping, it is a constant drip out of that one at the moment. About a drip every 1.5 to 2 seconds. Still making a mess. Nice thing about this is they're the same size GIC fittings. and pop both hoses loose and hook them right back together. Just hook them up the wrong way. So both cylinders are sealed up. Makes it easier to move them before you make a mess. Have to get them pumped out. See if we can get them apart. If I can't get them apart, I'll have to take them to town. But, you know, if we can do her here, I've done enough cylinders. It's not a big deal. It's just that this style, sometimes they torque the nut in too tight. And one of them on the track hook quite a few years ago, guy that outfit anyway, that does most of our, used to do most of our work we couldn't do like that. He actually had a cylinder lathe for breaking them loose, and he put it in the machine and clamped her up, and it went, "Arr!" That's all it would do. Never broke it loose. So even he had to take it to somebody else, which is fine. There's an outfit in Forest Grove that they work on lift trucks, and that's 90% of what they do is rebuild cylinders. So if I can't get it, I know they've got the equipment to get it apart, and they won't charge me too much. Not like they're going to charge me for parts, because if I got to take them there, they're showing up with the parts. So anyway, I don't know. I'll probably wait till tomorrow to put this on. Hopefully we get it together and running before then. One thing I'm happy about, I know my lower pins are kind of sloppy. The pins are worn, but the bushings look good on the cylinder rods. The base end, the bushings look beautiful too. Those pins aren't near as bad. The bottom ones, they end up in all the everything, you know, manure and dirt and whatever else. You expect them to be worn. The pins are worn, but the bushings are good. I don't know that it's worth changing the pins. It's a little sloppy. Actually, the worst ones are where the coupler mounts to the boom. And, you know, it's probably got another 5,000 hours left before it's really an issue. I don't mind a little bit of wiggle. It's a pretty tight machine for the hours it's got on. Keep in mind, all it's used for is loader work, so all that stuff gets worked on all the time. Gets worn. And number one must have had to take a break. She just shut the other machine off. Oh, I don't blame her. It's a little rougher riding than this one, and she's not used to it. But she's doing good. I like to see her finally getting some full buckets. She was getting like a quarter or half a bucket before. And I only took one scoop of dirty rock back there. I moved a bunch of concrete. So, anyway, I better get this before it makes any bigger mess, and clean the mess up and pick my tools up and put the machine away. It ain't going to sit there. I'll put it back in the shed where she can get plugged in if we need it to start her up. It'll start down into the 30s, but God, it's hard on it. It's probably harder on the hydraulics with the engine cold starting than it is anything else. But if the engine's warm, it's not jumping and chattering, and the hydraulics sound better anyway if the engine's warmed up, even though they don't get any heat. So anyway, this probably end up being one long video by the time I put it up, but you'll get over it. Hey, I think we've been here before. I figured I'd put an end to the video. That pile was out in line with that big rock pretty much. So I don't know, I moved maybe half a dump truck load worth. Number one moved at least a dump truck load worth. And I got a big chunk of the concrete crap pile gone. There's still more here, but it was right off the corner of the track. So, yeah, quite a bit. Tell you what it is. Supposed to have parts in the morning, I hope, for the skid steer cylinders. And then tomorrow, I can get that together and hopefully get a bigger dent in this. Actually works kind of nice with two of us. That Bobcat's hard for me to spread with. And she's not trying to spread with it. Well, she is a little bit. If she can get it there and I can get it there, I can smooth it up and we can both pack. It's one thing. My skid steer, it will pack. And things are finally dry enough back there now to pack. So, Hey, yay. Hey, hit the like button. Subscribe if you hadn't. Ring the bell. Says that's supposed to let you know when I put stuff up. And Rainey says, Dad, it's time to go in. A little early today, but it's been a day. So I'm going to go in. Put this up so you all can see it. And we'll go from there. Thanks for watching, everybody.